Hello, LA Progressive friends, family, viewers, readers. Today, have the pleasure of sitting down and chatting with Nithya Raman. Nithya is a city council representative for the city of Los Angeles, the city where I live, and the city where the LA Progressive is read most. It's actually read all over the country, but LA is our home. And we're so fortunate to have Nithya with us because she is known as a progressive on the city council. And we love ourselves some progressives. So Nithya, tell us, you are the incumbent running for the city council. Talk to us about what you plan to do and why you're doing it and all that stuff.
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on this interview and featuring me on the website. I'm really excited to connect with the readers of LA Progressive, and to meet you, Sharon, whose writings I've read over the years. So it's an honor. I am running for re-election to this council seat. I'm an urban planner by training, somewhat of an accidental politician. I was started as a neighborhood volunteer on the issue of homelessness, had never really been involved with local politics before, and ran for office because I felt like we lived in a city. We do live in a city where city council members have a lot of power. We have a weak mayor, strong council system for the city of Los Angeles. And I just felt like our city council could be doing more to help people who are vulnerable in the city and to help people who are in greatest need, and that they had power to address those issues that they weren't using. And I really felt that very deeply. I felt that they could be addressing homelessness more effectively. By really getting people indoors and off the streets. I felt like we could be doing more to protect renters. This is a city of majority renters. And I did not feel like the voice of renters was really represented on the city council. I felt like we could be moving faster towards our climate goals, both at the citywide level and in our own districts. And I really wanted to make sure that the city was really working for its people. So that's why I ran for office. That message of really wanting change in our neighborhoods, and that message of the council can do more for you, it resonated with voters. We had 5 times the voter turnout in my last election, and I ended up winning against an incumbent for the first time in almost 20 years here in Los Angeles. And over the last 3 years, I feel like I've really tried to deliver on what I promised. We've housed 500 people across the district, who were experiencing homelessness by really doing the work to connect them with services and with housing. We passed the strongest expansion of tenant protections in more than 40 years in the city. And I was very proud to have led that work. We're really reshaping the housing department to think of itself as a homelessness prevention and community protection agency instead of just a big old housing department. And we've done a lot for environmental work, both at the district level by implementing bike lanes and trying to make our district streets safer for people who are walking and biking, but also at the citywide level by making changes at the city level that can also get us towards those goals. So I'm really running for this re-election because I feel like we've started doing the work that I wanted to see done by my local elected representatives, and I want to keep doing it for both for the people of Council District 4, and for the city of Los Angeles as a whole.
Wow, it's so good to hear. I mean, you really are inspirational, especially considering that you say that you are an accidental politician. I was doing a little bit of reading about you, and I didn't know that that you were a graduate of Harvard and MIT. And like, oh, where's she in the LA City Council? And speaking of that and being an accidental politician, being a city council member, many people may not know this, but the city council is really in charge of creating all the laws and legislative matters that impact the citizens of Los Angeles, the business operations of all the businesses in Los Angeles, and you oversee and give final approval on budgets for the city of Los Angeles. And I'm just interested to know, someone who didn't intend to become a politician, what was it like to find yourself as a member of this body and have so much, what feels to me like bureaucracy, They're just sitting there in front of you. What is that like?
You know, maybe because of my training as an urban planner, I think that working with bureaucracy and getting bureaucracies to work for the people is some of the most important work that I can be doing here. And I actually have found it, while it's tough to work with bureaucracies that are slow to change, that are sometimes resistant to change, that are being pushed in different directions by different elected representatives, to me, the work that we've done, like the work we've done with the housing department or the work that we've done with the housing authority, where we've tried to issue emergency housing vouchers more effectively, the work that we're doing with LASA to make them better at their jobs, at actually getting people indoors and off the streets safely. All of that work has felt to me to be, it's not the stuff that generates headlines. It's not the sexy part of the job, I guess, if anything could be glamorous or about this job. But it is definitely the work that, to me, has the most meaningful impact for the residents of Los Angeles. If I may, I'd love to talk about one change that we've made at the housing department that is, again, minor but major for me.
Please do.
So when we passed the new expansion of tenant protections last year, one piece of information that we started getting as a city was very new for us. So part of that package of tenant protections included a mandate that every landlord that is sending out an eviction notice to tenants also sends a notice to the city of Los Angeles. So we now, as the city, had information for the very first time about who was facing eviction, who was actually getting an eviction notice. We now had information for the first time about who was facing the greatest housing insecurity that we didn't have before. And now what we're doing is that the housing department follows up with their own notification about what a tenant's rights and are, what resources they have available to them, whether it's from the city or from outside, like from nonprofits or from legal aid. And my council office and some of the other council offices, as well as the mayor's fund, have actually piloted programs that use the information that we're getting about who's getting eviction notices to actually call people or even knock on their doors and let them know what rights and resources they have available to them. So we've, in many ways, tried to make what has always been a reactive process, meaning if someone gets an eviction notice, they call LAHD and try and ask for help. We've tried to make it a proactive one so that when you get that notice, you also get outreach from the city that lets you know that the city is doing its best to try and help you through what is, I think, one of the most stressful things that anyone can face, the threat of eviction from a home.
That's
So
fabulous. And it sounds to me like you're developing a database.
yes, that's right.
And then with that data, who knows how you can use it in the future to be even more proactive. So that's fabulous. I mean, it's crazy. It never even occurred to me that we didn't have that information in a database somewhere.
No, because the evictions were being filed at the court. So if you get an eviction notice, you get an unlawful detainer, and that is filed in the courts. And the courts have privacy regulations, meaning that they can't share that information with the city. And so when we as a city are trying to say, okay, we're trying to minimize evictions, we're trying to minimize people getting displaced from their homes, we're trying to make it so that, when you're that people who just need a few, let's say you're a few $100s behind in rent, we want to make it so that you can stay in your home.
That's
And
so
so,
great.
yeah, so we're really trying. I mean, look, the system is far from perfect. So I'm not saying that we have enough resources to be able to take on the scale of the crisis. I know that housing insecurity is still really, really huge here in Los Angeles, but I just feel like we've been able to make our response here something that is more robust than it ever has been here in the city of Los Angeles. And I am very proud of that work.
That's fantastic. Now, there are several standing committees in the city council. Do you want to talk about any of the standing committees that you're a member of and what you guys are doing in those committees?
Yeah, so I've talked a lot about my work on housing, but that may be because now I'm the chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee here in the city. And it's been really exciting. I've been the chair for about a year now. after the tapes leaked and there was turnover on the council. And then new elected members came in, including new self-identifying progressives, Hugo Soto Martinez and Eunices Hernandez, along with others. Once the new council came into place, I was actually made the chair of the Housing and Homelessness Committee, and I'm very, very excited about that work. I also serve on a few other committees that I love the work that we're doing there. I'm the vice chair of the Ad Hoc Committee on Governance Reform that was created in the wake of the leaked tapes to try and see whether we can actually make changes that will reduce some of the governance challenges that the city has been facing. And in that committee, we have now created a ballot measure that will be on your November ballot that will allow the residents of Los Angeles to vote on whether we have a truly independent redistricting process here in the city of Los Angeles, which is long overdue. I can't believe we don't have it already, but it requires a charter amendment, which means that the voters will have to vote on it. But our committee crafted the ballot measure, and now it's going to go on the November 24 ballot, which I'm very excited about.
Wow. So everyone should already know that we do have an election coming up. This is the opportunity to vote for Nithya will be in March, but
Yes.
you can actually vote before March. I believe beginning February 5th. From
That's right.
February 5th to March 5th, people will have an opportunity to vote for you. And I'm pretty sure that you are just busy out there on the campaign trail right now. You want to talk to us a little bit about what that's like?
Yeah, so it's been interesting running for office while I've also been in office. I did it
Yes.
once when I wasn't
Yes.
serving already. And this is I think it's a very different thing to be running as an incumbent. You have to defend the work you've done. You have to point to, places in the district where there were encampments and say, I housed everybody here. You have to run on your record. You have to say to people, I passed these laws and here's how they've benefited you. So it's a really, really different experience this time around, but I am enjoying it very much. I have two little kids. I have 8-year-old twins. So I haven't been seeing them quite as much as I hoped, but I'm hoping that after March 5th, we'll be able to spend more time together as a family. But the campaign has been a great opportunity for me to get back out to in front of voters in the community who aren't always already reaching out to the council office. I think there's a lot of people who reach out to the council office to get a problem resolved in their neighborhoods. And then there's a lot of people we never hear from. Most people we never hear from. In fact, before I ran for office, I don't think I ever called my council office about anything. That's just not, it wasn't a habit of mine. And so the campaign allows us to get in front of those people again, and to tell them about the work that I've done and the work that the office has done, and to talk to them about why the changes that we're making are important and important for the future of the city. So it's been exciting. It's been hard, but it's been really exciting. I have 2 opponents in the race, one of whom has significant financial backing from primarily coming from corporate landlords and police unions. But it's a lot of money. And so I'm feeling like a little bit like I'm running my first race again, because I also have a new district because I was redistricted significantly. And I was targeted for redistricting by former council president Nuri Martinez, to make sure that it would be a harder election for me. So in some ways, I feel like I'm running my first race again, making sure new voters in new parts of the district know who I am, know the work that I've done, and trying to make sure that we can overcome this surge in outside funding that is supporting this person who's running against me.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you have any idea on how to deal with the surge in outside funding. I mean, obviously that's not just a problem at the city council level. It's it's a problem at every level, campaign finance.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Citizens United case makes it very hard for us to stop outside money from being spent in some ways that are very, very different from the will of the voters,
That's right. That's right.
And so, but the good thing is that we've seen over and over again here in the city of Los Angeles that just having the fiscal advantage, just having more money doesn't always mean that you win elections,
That's
right?
right.
And our recent mayoral election was very, very clear proof of that. There was a significant financial imbalance. And the person who had less money ended up getting elected by a significant margin, Mayor Bass. So
That's right.
it's not always the case that money equals votes or that money equals power. And so I'm hopeful that with, I've raised a lot of money myself. I'm still continuing to raise that money. We have a matching funds program from the city of Los Angeles that magnifies the donations by local residents. And we also have a good network of volunteers who are helping to get out the word. So I'm hopeful that with people power, we'll be able to overwhelm all this outside money.
So as we close, would you please tell everyone how to donate to your campaign? Where do they go?
Sure. Yeah. So my website is nithya2024.com, NITHYA 2024.com. And you can donate there, but you can also sign up to volunteer. You can find out more about the shape of the district and see if you live in it. The district goes from northern Silver Lake through Los Feliz and the Hollywood Hills into Studio City, Sherman Oaks, Encino, and half of Reseda, almost half of Reseda. And so if you live in those neighborhoods, get a yard sign and make sure you turn in that ballot before March 5th. Everyone should be getting a mail-in ballot, so make sure you use it.
Well, thank you so much, Ms. Nithya Raman, who is currently the City Council District 4 representative. He is the incumbent who is running again, and we just are delighted that you spent this time with us.
Thank you so
again.
much, Sharon. It's an honor again, and look forward to being in touch as the campaign progresses.
All righty.
Thank
So
you.
long. So let's see, how do I? Thank you for sticking around. If you like the LA Progressive content and the discussions we have here, please consider clicking the subscribe button below and also give us a thumbs up. That helps to grow our audience by feeding the algorithm, which helps to get this content in front of more eyes. Thanks for stopping by. We really appreciate your support.